This chilling visual from the massive humanitarian crisis that has gripped Afghanistan has become symbolic of the pandemonium that ensued after the Taliban takeover of Kabul. But did you know that there were not two but three men who fell to their deaths while trying to flee the country that day? Who were these men and what exactly happened to them after they touched the ground with a loud thud? Here's the full story, but at this point, I must warn you that some of the details are very graphic in nature and may unsettle you, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. You can watch the uncut visuals of this story on my Instagram @ReviewRon. One of the three men who fell down was a 19-year-old boy, Zaki Anwari, who played for Afghanistan's national youth football team, but his promising life was cut short after he lost his grip while trying to cling to a US plane airlifting people out of Kabul. Now it is believed that the young footballer Zaki attempted to hold on to the outside of the American military aircraft as it departed from the Hamid Karzai International Airport, but couldn't hold on for much longer and was the first one to fall down as soon as the plane took off. But this was just the beginning. Just a short distance away from the airport, a family in Kabul was about to witness something that would scar them for life. On Monday afternoon, when the Kabul airport was overrun with chaos, Wali Salek was resting in his two-story home in District 11 in Khair Khana, a neighborhood in northwest Kabul. His daughters were cooking and his two sons were asleep. Suddenly, a loud thud from the roof jolted the family awake. It sounded like a bomb blast, Salek told Scroll.in over a video call on Tuesday afternoon. The 47-year-old works as a security guard in Kabul, nearly 9 kilometers away from his home. Salek said, "The plaster began to crumble down from the walls and the ceiling of my house. Hearing the crash, his neighbors also came out of their homes. Then Salek climbed up to the roof of his house to see what had happened. But can you imagine the horror that greeted him? He said blood was splattered all across his roof, and the two bodies were badly damaged. Their stomachs and their heads had cracked open," Salek said, adding that their brains had come out. His wife Zakia Salek had followed him up to the roof but fainted after she saw the bodies, he said. He took her down to the bedroom and then gathered around 10 to 12 of his neighbors who helped him gather the remains of the dead. Salek first thought that these were the Taliban men who were thrown off the plane, but later he, along with his neighbors, checked the bodies of the dead and found that both the men were Afghanis who were no more than 30 years old. Salek identified one of the men as Shafiullah Hotak after he found his birth certificate in his pocket. Shafiullah appeared to be around 25 to 27 years old, he said. The other man appeared to be barely 20 years old, and Salek said that they wrapped the two bodies in a cloth and took them to a nearby mosque. Here the authorities identified the second man as Fida Mohammed. Salek later also found out that Shafiullah Hotak was a doctor in Kabul, and the other young man hailed from Karga, which is also located in Kabul. Living close to the airport, Salek and his family had become used to the harsh sounds of military aircrafts moving about. But he had never imagined that he would ever witness such a spine-chilling and dramatic fall of people from the sky onto the roof of his house. Salek lives about 8 kilometers from the Hamid Karzai International Airport, and imagine his horror when his neighbors also told him that they watched as two men holding onto the wheel of a plane had fallen off. News of the tragedy spread quickly, and it wasn't long before Salek's relative Shapur Zarifi heard about it in Delhi's Lajpat Nagar. The 27-year-old Sharif Zafiri, who runs a travel agency and a property company, got Salek in touch with the media back in India. As Salek described the dramatic events in Pashto, Zarifi translated the video call into Hindi. Salek also sent the photographs and the videos of the bodies to Scroll.in, which was one of the media that first published the story, but none of the media so far have published it. The entire incident has left the family harrowed and fearful. His wife has been unable to eat or sleep, he says. In his family, including his 6 children, he is the only one with a passport. So leaving the country would not be possible for him at this point in time. He says for now, the family is trying to relocate to a safer place. Since the Taliban seized the Afghan capital on Sunday, crowds have gathered at the city's airport in the hope of escaping the country. Amid chaotic scenes at the weekend, hundreds of people were filmed running alongside a US Air Force plane as it gathered speed on the runway, and several men clung onto the side. The US military also confirmed later that human remains were found in the well of the aircraft's wheel, also adding that it was investigating the reported deaths linked to its C-17 aircraft. That's all for now, but you can connect with me on Instagram and on Facebook. I'm available there as @ReviewRon on both these platforms. Subscribe here if you find my videos worth it, but even if you don't do any of these things, thank you so much for watching this one. Please take care of yourself and those around you. Jai Hind.